And welcome back to the show. Welcome back to Seaway Sports Lounge, everyone. This is Ryan, of course, my host, Typhoon. How are you guys? How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Not bad. A little bit of old grape juice tonight, a little bit of wine there, but I'm doing all right. Take the edge off, right? That's how it goes. But other than that, I'm having fun.
Here, it's nighttime. You can have one. You're allowed.
Absolutely. That's how it goes. So tonight we're going to be talking about, we're going to go through a couple of things. We're going to go through, obviously, with some baseball news. We're going to go, obviously, with scores are happening with the playoff race and have a couple stories to talk about. Then we're going to get into some NHL news. Obviously, today, welcome to Happy Retirement Day. Apparently, 3 big stars decided to hang it up all today, and we're going to go over that. We're going to go over some other news with the Jets and maybe some Leafs and Habs news.
There's also speculations of another retirement, but it hasn't been official yet, but there is speculation.
Okay. All right. We'll definitely go through that. And then after that is finished, we're going to go through our wonderful week 1 choices that we did. And I think we're going to do our own roast because, I think we need some work on who's going to be the winner or not for that. And as week 2 has just finished, we'll talk about some of the games and any other NFL stories that are in the league right now going on. So that's where we're going to start. That's where we're going to go from there. So, all right. What do we have going on right now?
Right now, the Jays are taking on the Phillies, and it's the 9th and 2 outs. Scores 18-11 for the Jays.
Oh, they just got an extra run, I see then. Okay. So it's almost done there. So, wow, that's Jays certainly they like to score in bunches, don't they?
Oh, yeah.
On certain games, right?
That's another big score for them.
Crazy. What was that last one we were just talking about before we started there? What was it against the Red Sox?
28-5.
Modest. Not bad. Decent. 28 runs in one game.
11 and 5 in the 5th inning.
Wow. I wonder who the pitcher was for that. I didn't see the game, but I just saw the score and I'm like, wow, okay. That's a lot of scoring.
They had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pitchers that game.
Unreal. That's crazy. Great for the Jays, but geez, it's nuts.
One of their pitchers was their second baseman as well.
Oh, man. Okay. Tough night.
Ooh, tough crowd.
Tough crowd. Ooh, tough crowd is right. Tough night. Well, with 18-11 now, bottom of the 9th, I'm going to go over a couple of the other scores that are going on. Yankees are losing to Pittsburgh 8-4, top of the 9th. We also have Seattle just scored 1, top of the 2nd. They're up 1-0 against Oakland, who's doing wonderful this year. No, they're not. No, they're not doing well. Sorry, Oakland. Just not their year this year. So
it's been like that for a while.
I know. It's pretty standard, but Oakland's tried. Minnesota's tied 4-4 with KC, bottom of the 7th. And some of the games that finished up earlier, Baltimore lost to Detroit 3-2. So basically, and Tampa lost 5-0 to Houston. So that's a good one, too. That's a good thing for the Jays playoff run. Every little bit helps, right? They're 5.5 back. They're 83-64. They'll be 84-64 very shortly. They're
going to be only 5 back after this because the Yankees are on pace to lose tonight and they're on pace to win.
Yes, that's right. And Jays are in sole possession of the first wild card. So pretty good. I'd say overall, great little spot for the Jays. We'll see how it continues. The race continues on and we'll go from there. But I'm going to share a story. Obviously, there's a couple little stories here, but the first one I'm bringing up, I don't know if you can see it, probably not, but it's Yankees Judge hits his 58th and 59th. Now, this news is about a day or two old. He's 2 shy of the franchise Roger Maris, of course, with his 61 that he did. And Albert, never pronounced his name. Pujols. Perfect.
Yes.
He's hit his 698th career home run. So what do you think about all that?
It's actually kind of cool. Well, and with
see
Albert
it again?
Pujols, like with Albert Pujols, it's kind of cool because I remember watching him when I was a little kid. He's still playing, man. It's been 20 years.
Oh, I know. It's crazy. And the thing for me, you and I both, I don't know how much baseball you were in depth in the mid to late 90s when the big home run derby went on. And I think it was 1998, but I could check that.
I just remember him being one of the big players for the Cardinals for years. And then he left in full circle, came back.
Oh, I know. And now he's out there again, and he's just continuing to do it. Yeah, it's pretty cool. But
I think he has
a
a little bit I think he has a little like motivation on his side too, because he called it as this is his last year. So
Right.
I think it might bring out the best in him. It might make him play even better for that stretch. That's why he's hitting these home runs out of nowhere.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, it's incredible. Like, only I hope he gets his 7. I hope he keeps going as far as he can go. Right. Like, I mean, like I said, I remember in the whole home run race that happened when I was like 18, 19 years old. That was pretty cool. Like, I mean, Mark McGuire and Sammy Sosa were fighting it out, and I mean, those guys were at 3 home runs a game every game. It was crazy. Now I know they had help, obviously.
So did Barry Bonds.
And Barry Bonds as well, another one. But I mean, it's still, even if that's the case, I mean, sure, they had help, but you know what?
It's
just crazy.
Incredible.
It's fun to watch. It's fun to watch. That's the whole point of this, right?
Yeah, like the thing is, they're wondering what doesn't get people into baseball as much. Is there's not as much excitement. The home runs was exciting. Everyone was into
that one was, that one was fun to watch. And
well,
I mean, there's also the big run that the Oakland A's did back in 2002, 2003, or like on Moneyball, the movie.
Yeah,
you know, that
real.
whole,
and
that just broke just recently with the
Cleveland
with the
Indians
Cleveland
at the time, who are the Guard now.
Now the Guardians. So, and they broke that record. It only took them 20 plus years to do it, and that was it. That's pretty cool.
Which was a record that was held for almost 100 years, I think, something like that. The first time,
long time. Wow, some fans, that's all they remember, right? Their entire life, right? But that's that's what's happening right now between the Yankees and Albert. So, I mean, I hope they keep going and just keep hitting the home runs, man. Keep getting that crowd going.
Currently, Judge has 3 at bats and only 1 walk. So
right, so he's still not there yet. He's still got 2. He hasn't crossed 61 yet, so he's still got a lot of games left to do it. So
just tonight he's being held off the score sheet, and
that'll happen like any other baseball player, right? So now the next thing I was going to talk about, of course, the Jays itself. Like I said, like this record is actually it's 83-64. Like I said, it'll be 84-64 tonight. It's a 3-way race, man. It's basically and it's not really a race in the fact that it's to get in. These 3 teams are already in. Now it's a matter of where are they going to finish, right? Like, I mean, Baltimore is now 5.5 back, and the other teams are like half a game, 1.5 between each other to 0. Some of them are tied. Like, it's just incredible stuff. And the Rays, the Seattle Mariners, and Toronto are going to duke it out. Now, I think Toronto's going to finish the first. They're playing well. They got the hitting going again. They're doing Seattle and the Rays in Seattle will continue to duke it out for whichever position they want. But that's going to be, I mean, I don't think the Jays are going to catch New York. We said that the last time, and that's fine. That's okay. The Yankees are just, you know,
they're on their next level. It's not the same thing. They're totally next level.
Firepowers, you know, like the Jays run differential 69. They're at 209. Well, as of right now,
when you have Giancarlo Stanton and and Aaron Judge in your lineup,
I know
that's 2. Those 2 were both 2 of the best hitters at one time, I believe. When they got Giancarlo, they were both fighting each other all the time for best hitter.
Right. Yes. Well, they're doing well. Jays are doing great. Like I said, they're playing well. They're doing what they have to do to get in, and I think they're obviously going to get in the playoffs. Now it's a matter of who they're going to meet and how far they'll go. We'll see. Then, of course, playoff baseball is completely different. Any playoff. I'm pretty excited to see it. It'll be fun to watch. Again, fun to watch.
I see the gap is really growing there with the wild card, where it's almost unreachable for Baltimore now.
Well, Baltimore, Chicago, and Minnesota are at 5.5, 5.5, and 8.5 as of right now. And we're recording this at like 10:30 at night. So that's where they're at. So the odds of them getting in are pretty much 0. Unless there's some catastrophic loss between
the only team that's not in a playoff spot that has a shot is Milwaukee. They're 2.5 back of Philly.
And in the National, just to bring to the other side for anybody who's in the National League,
Los Angeles are killing it.
LA's 103-44 with a 701 winning percentage,
333 differential.
Yeah, like they're just an amazing team.
The second place team in that division has 92 wins.
Actually, now it's in that division. Yes.
Like they're 11.5 games back.
I know. Is that not Atlanta? Is it Atlanta or no?
Yeah, Atlanta, the Braves.
Atlanta, yeah, okay. I'm not sure which division they're in. I just know Atlanta's in the.
Yeah, but it's got to be Atlanta because there's no way they're 92 points, and you look at the other guys, they'd be ahead of St. Louis.
Wins. Yeah, 92 wins, 11.5.
Yeah. They would have been ahead of St. Louis if they were there.
Yeah, that's right. Well, no, Atlanta's in the East, so they're behind New York.
Yeah.
And they're in New York. And the San Diego Padres are behind LA Dodgers in their division. And they're 22 games back.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so San Diego is in. I'm looking at TSN right now.
Sorry, I looked at it wrong. It's minus 11.5 out of the wild card spot is what they are.
Right, yeah, but if you're looking at it as divisional, so LA's first in their division. San Diego's behind them by 22. The Cardinals are winning theirs, and Milwaukee's 8.5. And then if you go to the East, the NL East, the Mets are ahead, and Atlanta's only 1 behind them. So that's where you're close the gap. And then after that, Philly's like 12.5, and then Miami is like 33.
Yeah, I was looking at the wild card thing.
Right.
And it had Atlanta at the top minus 11.5.
Right.
And I was just looking at their wins from the division to there, and I saw a difference. That's why I said it like that. But yeah, I see what you mean. I looked at the division.
Yeah, you just flipped it around. That's fine. So that's basically where we are with the Jays and the playoff race. So a next story we'll talk about.
The West is so lopsided when it comes to divisions compared to the NL is lopsided.
The NL, right? Yeah.
The AL.
Yeah. Well, it used to be what? Who was the pitching? Who was the hitting? Right? Who's the hitting league? Who's the pitching league? Right? Back in when we were younger, right?
I mean, the hitting was NL, pitching was AL.
Well, the NL had the big 3 in Atlanta, right? So for a long time, but other than that, I mean, the Indians obviously are in the AL, and they had their big pitching staff. Of course, Toronto had their pitching staff too. We're talking 90s, everybody like
Charles Nagy, Bartolo Colon, Dwight Gooden,
Oral Hershiser. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So it's funny to watch it change, right?
Oh, yeah.
So the next story we're going to talk about is with Pujols' 700 home runs. Now, the question is, which has more meaning? And I want your opinion on this. Is it Pujols breaking the 700, or is it Judge beating Maris's franchise record of 61? Now, what do you think?
I can honestly say I'm not a fan of either team, but I think it really depends on the fan base, right? What is more important to each their own, or to the mega stats? If you're looking at big stats for accomplishments, then Pujols is definitely number 1. But in a fan perspective, it would be, he just broke the franchise record.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, has Judge ever come close, or is this the only year he's done it, that he's come this close?
I think he's had 50 home runs or so before, has he not?
I have to look it up. I'm not sure. But I just know that for me, Pujols to me, it means more. It's like, as you mentioned earlier, he's a guy that's been around a very long time. He's had a storied career. He's now about to cross a threshold that many players will never touch, ever. Mm-hmm. And I mean, only the superstars do. And for me, 700 home runs, that and all the other accomplishments and accolades he has, to me, that has more meaning. Maris's record was already beaten in the 90s because as a league as a whole, like because of what went on that summer. But I'm not going to take away from what Judge is about to do if he does it, which I know he's going to do because he's just that good. Mm-hmm. But for me, I just feel the other guy's record right now, to answer the question, means more in my opinion. Because
I would agree. Like you said, it's all time. This is all time hits.
Yeah, this is big. Yeah.
And he's done this without steroids is the big thing.
No, he hasn't had any kind of enhancement. He's done it all natural. And he's been around
from the days that it was there.
Right, and he chose not to do it as far as we understand.
What I'm saying is that's a huge accomplishment from guys from that era.
Right, yes, because, I mean, look at A-Rod and all the other guys.
They're all tainted.
And all the other guys, they were all...
I don't want to go into it. They're just all tainted now, unfortunately.
No, and it's a discussion that could be held for another day, and it's been discussed at length for years. So...
Yes. And it never will not be.
No, that's right. But in this case, for us, I think this 700 home run thing means more than Judge beating Maris's record.
It's not something that happens often. 700 home runs.
In my opinion, yes.
We've only seen it 3 times in our life, and they're all tainted. This is a real deal one.
Right. So, saying that, does this record merit him being in the Hall of Fame?
I think so.
I do. I mean,
How many
You
championships does the guy have?
don't know. I would assume he's got at least one, but I mean that doesn't mean much because I mean we all know great players. Some of them don't get anything. So,
I know it's got to be the worst.
well, I mean you're in this for he's 42 years old. He's born the same year I'm born,
Yeah.
1980. January 16th is his birthday. Like this guy, this guy's he's been out this
Two
long.
World
Time.
Series.
He's got two.
Two-time World
Okay.
Series champion, three-time MVP, Rookie of the Year, 6-time Silver Slugger, NLCS MVP, 3-time ML Player of the Year.
Right.
He had a batting title championship and 2 Golden Gloves, 11-time All-Star.
Then why would he not be in the Hall of? Why would Cooperstown block him? You know what I mean? Like I know it's not. I mean, I think he's going to get on the first go.
I think he's a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Oh,
no
come
question.
on! Absolutely.
Wow!
Oh my God!
I didn't
His
realize
accolades
that
are
many
huge,
accolades.
man. He has a long line of success. He's done it all. Let's be honest. He's done it all, and now he's about to break another record, which probably won't be touched for a long time. Right?
Probably not.
My view is to me, Hall of Fame all the way. That's me.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm sure there's probably someone or a few people out there that may not for whatever reason. But I mean, we have our views about the Hall of Fame. Hall of Fame is to me it's the sport. It's not winning championships. It's all about you're the best player. It's a player's Hall of Fame, right? That's what it's all about, right?
A trophy is a single player accolade. A championship is a team trophy.
Right. And I mean, you have builders, you have different categories, right? But from a player's perspective, which is what this guy is, I mean, 42 years old, he's still playing. I mean, and he's still continuing to pile up these records and doing these things. Right, Hall of Fame for me, 100%.
And just so you know,
Cooperstown, what's that?
In 2017, Judge did hit 52.
Okay, so he has come relatively close.
Yes.
To Maris's record. Okay. So this year's should be his year. This will be his year.
It'll make him look. It'll make him look. Maybe you know what? I guess you could say for him, that's a step towards having your jersey in the rafter for the Yankees.
Oh, absolutely. Judge should be. I mean, the guy's a great player. I mean, every team would want him, and you know what? He's doing it for them this year. And you know what?
I guess that's the way
contender.
You could look. That's the way you could look at both angles too, right? This is an accolade that can put him in Yankee history, but this guy can go all time.
Right, and that to add to our point earlier, that's why I'm saying I wouldn't take away what Judge is doing because of that reason, because this is an important thing. So, but to him and to the Yankees organization, and of course the fan base, right, or anybody else who loves baseball, right?
That's why I'm curious what is bigger to most people if we do that poll.
Well, what we can do is we could put this inside the comments. We could put up a poll to see what people think. So the poll would basically say, what do you feel is more important? It's what it is. Like I have it written on the banner below. So
you can post it in our group as well.
We'll put that in the group and we'll post that up on the comments later on. We could create a poll probably, and we'll look into that.
Because they both merit very good points. So what is more important?
It'd be neat.
To see which one is more important to fans.
If you feel like leaving comments below about this as you watch this section, by all means put them in, but we will definitely put that up later. I think it's time we switch over to NHL. So the NHL is heating up quite well right now. One of the first ones. Now this is quite the story. Now I like this player as a player, but Jets Blake Wheeler was stripped of his captaincy. Now, what do you think about this? What does this mean? What do you think about this whole mess in the Jets organization right now?
This is two things. It's either he doesn't like the direction the Jets are going in and he wants out, so they took the C away from him instead of keeping it on until they trade him. Or this is a new coach who didn't like what he saw in his dressing room and he wants to change things.
Well, it's Rick Bowness. Rick Bowness is now coaching the Jets. He just got hired this summer. Well, that's fair. That's possible. Absolutely. I mean, it's the coach's discretion who he feels captain is, right?
And this isn't, if him being stripped of the C is not surprising to me. I have heard in the past, I've heard skitters and scatters of rumors that he was not very good in the dressing room.
Well, like I've said before, the Jets, I don't know as much about their thing, but it's possible. But I do, and if we do find out, everyone, if we could find, if there is something that comes out glaring, and it might happen, say in a few months from now, maybe something will break in the story, especially if Wheeler gets traded. I mean, if that happens, I mean, I don't see it happening. This guy's an excellent player. He's one of their best players.
He's 35 and he's got an $8 million salary cap.
Yeah, that's going to be pretty hard to move.
And for 2 more years.
That's not easy.
No.
Especially with all the cap strap teams that are all pushed right up to the limit right now anyway. But for me, the stripping of the captaincy I would say would be a tough blow to your ego. That's for one for him. Wheeler is a very good player, and very good players usually have pretty big egos. So I mean, for him
and he's been an all-time player for the Jets since they moved to Winnipeg.
and he's been, I mean, yes, he came over there and he was drafted by the Boston Bruins. And he was moved there, and
he was moved in the Rich Peverly trade when the Boston pushed for the Cup.
Is that so? Yeah, I don't remember the trade. I just remember he was drafted by the Bruins.
Yeah, it was Rich Peverly.
They let him go. Rich Peverly, the man who died on the bench and still wanted to go back out.
Put me out, coach. I'm good.
No, you're not. Please sit down. Rich, sit down. Like, wow. Like, it still blew my mind when I heard that story.
Hospital.
Yeah, not playing tonight. You're done, buddy. Anyway, I just think Jets fans, I don't know how they're going to take this. I mean, I'm sure Wheeler has a very big following in the Jets fan base.
But you know what? That team's going through some strange stuff, because why would Paul Maurice just get up and say, I can't do this anymore?
Yeah, I've never seen that before mid-season. At least not in my lifetime. I've never seen a coach just say, oh, I'm done and the season's not over. I mean, and that there's nothing that was of any issue with Paul Maurice anyway in the organization.
Nothing came out that there was any rumor he was going to get fired. Nothing.
Or something was wrong or something happened. Mm-hmm. Nothing that I saw. But he decided to call it, and now he's in the Panthers organization now. So
a coach, and when he quit on them, he made it sound like he was done and wanted to be done for a while.
Well,
and then as soon as the Panthers came, and when the Panthers came calling, he went.
Yep. Oh, I know, and I don't know what I don't know what was that about. I mean, it is Florida. I mean, it's nice, but that signs that I think the leadership group, the group of leaders, like every team has,
was failing.
Something is wrong with it, and obviously, if that's what Bonus stripped him of the captaincy or the Jets organization, well, then obviously it's a sign, like you said, that there's something bigger going on here and that they need to make a major change. So I expect maybe a trade or two coming in the next little while. Now, Cheveldayoff has not, I mean, he's made moves, but he's not one to. Well, I just find him, I mean, in my opinion, some of his moves are timid. I don't find them overly aggressive. Now, he's not I don't feel he's an overly aggressive GM.
1000% reminds me of Marc Bergevin.
Does he?
He keeps everything on the hush hush. He makes very, very timid trades. He does these. He always does these low risk, high reward signings. It's hold on, Marc Bergevin. He's riding a goalie until the goalie dies.
Well, wait a second. Hold on. Isn't Marc Bergevin and Cheveldayoff prodigies of Dale Talon in Chicago? Mm-hmm. Weren't they both hired by Chicago at one point? And they were
under Stan Bowman.
Or Bowman, I mean, it was one of the two. Yeah,
they were under Stan.
But either way, they were both products of the Chicago's.
They both won the franchise Cup as AGMs.
Right. So maybe they have some kind of similar style. Obviously, they do. If that's what you're saying.
Yes, and like I said, he reminds me of him 1000%. They're too hush hush.
Oh.
They both do this whole, we don't plan to trade this guy, and then 3 days later the guy's traded, or 3 hours later the guy's traded in PK Subban's case.
We'll get to him in a minute. So, well, just to wrap this part up, I mean, it's going to be a very different year for the Jets. I think the fans are going to scratch their heads a little bit. I don't know what's in store with the Jets. I don't know what they have.
I think their core is getting too old, and I think they need to rebuild, and they're trying to hold out one, like they're doing this. We could still go when you're beating a dead horse kind of thing.
Possibly. Yeah. I mean, it's like any core, like you said, it's aging, and now it's showing its signs, and maybe it needs to be stripped out and redone. But again, as you just said earlier, he's got a cap hit of $8.5 million, $8 to $8.5 million over 2 more years.
0.25.
I don't know which team can handle that kind of hit right away. Like it would be that money. Like everything else, we have $900 million in dead cap hit. We're good.
Send them over here.
Oh my God. Unreal organization. That's a story. That's an organization for another day.
How
But
can you literally be a freezer box for the rest of the NHL? We need to store this guy. Can you take him? Sure.
their new building has 5,000 seats. What's that tell you?
Did you hear the big news? They're expecting to sell out every game.
Our town we live in and our town that I come from could sell out 5,000 seats.
They were like,
are you kidding me?
Excited to say that they're expecting to sell out every game.
I hope so. If they don't sell that out, they're in deep trouble. I mean, they're already in deep trouble. But I mean, come on. Like
you can't tell me there's 5,000 people that don't like hockey in Arizona.
And it's not for 1 year. I think it's 3, isn't it? Didn't they signed a long-term lease with this team? I mean, either they're building I think they're building a new arena. That's the plan, but whatever, man. Hey, that's what the Phoenix Coyotes want to do, or whatever. Or
and they
Arizona,
also have,
their
rules are crazy too. Like if they don't abide by the college rules, they can get kicked out.
The whole situation's just crazy, man.
And it's so funny that they could even get kicked out because they paid for the renovations so that they could add more seats and make it look more luxurious.
It just keeps getting better.
I wonder what the food is. Is it those terrible nachos like you get in the small arenas?
I don't know.
And the big popcorn machine because that's all they had, or fries.
I don't know. Probably it's college, right?
Would you like a slushie?
Not a beer, a slushie. $7 slushie.
Yes, for a small.
All right. Well, I'm on TSN here. We switched it over to PTO, so that's funny though, I'd say. So PTO signings, you have a trade that happened with Dallas, but some more stuff has happened. So what we'll talk about,
there's a signing, an actual signing 2 hours ago too.
Okay, so what we'll do is we'll go over the signings, PTOs, and then we'll talk about this little trade with Dallas and the New York Rangers. So obviously the big news that happened today in signings was Mr. McKinnon has signed a record 8-year extension with the Colorado Avalanche for $12.6 million AAV. Now, that's a big story that we're going to go into later in another show when we do our NHL entry show for the new season. But just some first impressions on yourself. What does this do for the entire NHL's future signings for other superstars? What do you think?
They're going to reach for big money because
right.
It's funny because I think it was like 3 or 4 years ago, he literally said, on my next contract, I'll take another pay cut because I want to keep this core and win again. And
I know he said something.
And actually, after he signed, his tone went to, I want to be the highest paid player in the league.
After winning the cup, and I mean, these guys know that he took a lot less money. I mean, that's a noble thing to do, but
taking 12.6 is also less in the sense because he could have asked for 14 technically, because that's the 15% of the cap or 20% of the cap or whatever.
Right. Well, this is it. So I don't know how I mean, good for him. I mean, great.
I was
loaded even more now.
I did talk to a friend of mine who's a Colorado Avalanche fan, and his view on it was the contract is good because at season's end, Eric Johnson's contract is over, and that money just converts to him. So whatever money they have still is open.
Yeah, the Colorado Avalanche have been very good with their cap. We all know
Joe
that.
Sakic, for a man who didn't work in the cap era, knows how to run that cap like ridiculous.
And he has great AGMs that know how, right?
Must have the best lawyers ever.
He's got guys that understand how this works. And I mean, I'll hop on to Cap Friendly in a minute. If you want to, I don't know if you have any TSN open, but
I do.
While I do that, if you want to take a look around, if there's anything, I mean, there's a couple of
actually, I was going to say, there's Barrett Hayton just signed a 2-year extension in Arizona.
Okay, who's he? I don't know him.
He was one of the he was the big center in the draft. He was one of the big centers in the draft the year Kotkaniemi was drafted.
Okay, so a few years back. Right?
Mm-hmm. And he's been slowly climbing his way into the league. Last year, was his first real NHL season. He had 10 goals, 14 assists in 60 games, which isn't bad for a 21-year-old player.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Anything else? That's not bad. That's not terrible.
No, it's Alex Galchenyuk, ladies and gentlemen, has signed a
Oh,
PTO with the Colorado Avalanche.
so he's now with the Avs. Interesting. Toronto tried him. He did okay, but again, we all know the end result of that. So a goal that shouldn't have happened. But anyway, I digress. And I digress.
What do you mean? He was great. What a pass to what is it, Cole Caulfield and Suzuki on a breakaway.
Stop. That's enough. We're not going down that road again.
And then the series changed.
It still hurts. It still hurts. Okay.
I wish I could play the song "The Wind of Change" right now.
I thought you were going to play Hall & Oates again. You played that to death. Yeah, he played at work. Everyone, just so you know, he played that. I gave him 1 day. Like I said at the beginning of this whole thing when we started, I said after that was done, I gave him the 1 day to just, do whatever he. Boy, oh boy, did he! Like I said, boy, did he ever make sure I understood that the Habs won. Like, I walk in the door and the goal horn of the Habs is the first thing he plays. Anyway,
I'm just gonna say, like, I don't think this will happen again for a long time. So I
have no idea. Anyway, well,
we're still not there yet, so it's gonna be a while.
You guys are
Barrett Hayton. Oh, I just found Barrett Hayton's salary extension is $1.775 per year.
I'm on the Colorado team's cap friendly right now, and this is amazing. So they have 13 players under contract after this year's done. So they have 22 signed now. They have the 13 total, well, available signed up. That's 21 standard contracts, and they have 15.7 million in bonuses next year. Okay, so that's got to count. Not this year coming up, but the following year. Then they have only 13.98 million to sign almost 10 players.
So they're coming up to that point where they're going to be totally cap unfriendlied.
Well, they've won already, so they're going to try one more time, I think, and then probably move some stuff. But the beauty about the Avalanche is they got a boatload of young players.
Yes, they have a lot, and like guys like Alex Newhook and stuff are really good up and comers.
They'll be their new team later.
They have a kid named Martin Coit as well.
Yes. Oh, they're loaded. Yost or is it Yost or something like that? Or
I thought Jost was traded.
He might have been. Yeah, he's not on there. Bowen Byram, of course. Yeah, Devin Taves.
Actually,
Samuel Girard.
They lost their entire second line this offseason.
Yeah. Well, that's what happened to Tampa, too. Tampa lost a big pile of players. I think it was their decor last year or something, and they just reconfigured it.
And it still brought them to the finals. Even losing Blake Coleman and the other guy, too. What was the other one?
Yeah, and they still went all the way. So, I mean, go figure. Now, so anyway,
they know how to plug their holes with real good plugs.
Yeah, that's right.
real good.
real good. Okay, Mike Babcock. We're good now.
It was real good.
Yeah. So anyway, so that's the Avalanche. What else do we have for PTOs?
PTOs, Sonny Milano has signed with the Calgary Flames. Now, this one is impressive because I can't believe he didn't actually get a contract. Sonny Milano is a top 9 hockey player on any team.
Well, how old's Sonny Milano?
23.
Okay, so there's obviously something going on with him.
I
give up on a 20. Well,
the Ducks
went to Montreal, so
Ducks had an issue with money too. I think they were changing their whole view of everything too. They've changed GMs and everything too.
Another big news article, which is not in the banner below, is retirement day. So apparently 3 stars in the NHL, or aging stars, decided to hang it up. So Keith Yandle retired after 17 seasons. This is the NHL's Iron Man.
I can't make my team name anymore. Can't handle my Yandle.
No, you have to think of a new one. Never-ending rebuild's always my favorite. One of them, anyway. What else? We also have Zdeno Chara. Zdeno Chara signed with Boston today, 1-day contract to retire today with the Bruins.
And Mr. PK Subban hung up his skates today.
Yeah, that was a little surprising. Now, what's your take as a Habs fan with PK? What's your view on him? Would the Habs have taken a flyer on him again, or what do you think?
I honestly thought they would because we were looking for a right defenseman, a veteran right defenseman. I honestly thought he would come back for a reunion tour type thing.
Right.
But I also know that since he had his back injury, he's never been the same.
Right.
He was a
he's not.
defenseman that relied on his wheels, and when those wheels disappeared, he relied on his shot. And when the shot started to fade because he couldn't stand on it right because of his back, that faded too.
Well, I have a quote from him. It's what he wrote today. This is one of the many things. He wrote a big article, but I'll just take a small one for everybody who hasn't heard. He said here, I remember my dreams of playing in the NHL and winning the Stanley Cup, similar to the guys on the Don Cherry Rock'em Sock'em tapes at the end of every volume, with black eyes, broken bones, and tears of joy. To this day, I still dream about it, Subban wrote in a post to Twitter. However, the end of this chapter is closing, and after 13 years in the NHL, I've made my decision to retire. I've never looked back at myself. I never felt that I was just a hockey player, well, quote unquote, just a hockey player. I always looked at myself as a person who happened to play hockey. Having that perspective allowed me to enjoy every shift like it was my last, celebrating every goal with emotion, and play every game as if someone was paying me, someone paid to watch me play who has never seen me play before. I mean, guy, he donated money to the hospital in Montreal.
$10 million.
He was not as a Leafs fan, but watching that trade from the outside in, in the outside in, I didn't understand the trade, why they moved him. I don't know the dynamics of what happened there. All I know is I didn't feel it was right. They gave up on a guy that I felt gave to the city. He is from the Toronto area and he's playing for Montreal. Like that's pretty big.
And a Habs fan too,
right? And I mean, he had his antics and stuff on the ice and in the dressing room. I've heard he had his trouble in some places. Well, now what I heard doesn't mean it was.
No, I know it was a very mixed thing in the dressing room. There was, from what I understand, from my perspective, from what I've seen,
yeah.
Therrien didn't like the spotlight that PK drove. He didn't like that flashy thing. And Bergevin is not a flashy person either. He didn't like it either.
Okay.
And to me, they took away the most exciting thing they had on the ice,
right,
and moved it for a guy who's a robot. Mind you, he's one of the best robots to play the game, but it was a robot. An emotionless robot. You could literally do this, the 10 faces of Vader on the 10 faces of Weber.
Weber was a phenomenal player, and I mean,
but
the debate will go on in Montreal for decades to come. Like,
but the only way I see that when people say who won that trade, I would say the Habs did, because Weber stayed and PK was traded.
Well, Weber went to the finals.
They both did.
Weber,
both did.
Yes, they did. That's true. Yes, they did. Earlier in 2014, 2013?
Subban went against the Pittsburgh Penguins.
Right.
The first time.
Didn't he play against the Rangers too? When they went to the Rangers in the conference final?
No. Yes, when he was on our team in 2014.
Yeah, well, I mean with Montreal. I'm talking about Montreal. He went to the conference. He didn't get to the finals of Montreal, but he got to the conference finals of Montreal.
He got there with Nashville the first year he was there. Also, I do have a tweet that I got on my phone that a friend of mine sent me from a reporter in Montreal. He's an independent sports journalist, Patrick Lordy.
Okay.
And he tweeted today. I'll pull it up and I'll explain.
Let's finish this up and we'll talk quick about the Dallas, then we'll move on with the rookie tournament.
Here it is. He said, can't 100% confirm if this is true, but two different #NHL employees have told me that PK Subban had his eyes set on either at Go Habs Go reunion or a final shot at a cup with #Leafs Forever. That were the only two options in his mind. When both doors closed, he was done. So
if Toronto hasn't signed Sandin yet, why would they bring PK in?
Well, I'm just saying if that was his decision where he wanted to go back there, he didn't care about amount. He would have taken 900,000 from what I understand. It wasn't about money. It's just sounds like both teams are in different places right now and said sorry.
Wasn't meant to happen. That's all there is to it. So,
and
good to Mr. Subban. Enjoy your retirement, man.
You know what though? He's just gonna sign with some network and have a blast on there, which is what he did. Which is what he did the year he was injured or whatever. Remember,
he's 33. He's 33 years old. He's not like he's 43 or 53. 33. Like he's still a very young man. He has lots of time left to do whatever he wants, and he's rich. So
he made a lot of money.
Yeah, Montreal paid him very well, and so did Nashville and everybody else that's paid him.
His contract was $9 million for 8 years.
He's got a Norris under his belt.
And a
So,
second, he had a nomination too, a Norris and a
right,
Norris nomination.
there you go. So, I mean, the guy has accolades behind his name as well. So, I mean, good career. Like, that's a solid career.
I remember watching him score a hat trick against Minnesota. That was cool.
That's it. He gave Montreal a
He
lot
gave
of
his
fun.
blood, sweat, and tears. He
Well, he
gave
gave you
everything.
guys entertainment value, and he also he brought that power play to a new level. Him and Markov were phenomenal, right?
Markov,
They were both
another.
really good. They were both a great pair. They both complemented each other. I mean, whatever mistakes that Subban made, Markov covered them up. So, but
I
that's what
also,
happens,
mhm.
right?
I also loved when Hal Gill was paired with PK Subban.
And you
I
got Hal
loved
Gill
those
too. I mean,
two.
Toronto had him too, but yeah, Montreal had him too. So
I loved him. I love that. Every time I
Hal
played against
Gill,
that guy, no, it's funny though. Every time
what's that?
every time I saw Montreal play against him, I was like, this guy's a big, tall, lummox, slow, blah. And then he's on your team, and you're like, I love this guy.
It was just his size, man.
His reach on
Reach.
the penalty kill
He's
was
like having a Chara,
ridiculous.
right? Like having a Chara on your team. Like, I mean, I don't think he was as skilled as Chara, but I mean, still, he was this big body that could just cover a ton of space.
His
He would
hockey
just
stick
do
is
it.
a snowplow, not a hockey stick.
Yeah, he was a big boy. I think he was 6'7", I think.
Yeah,
Wasn't as tall as Chara, but he was tall enough. 6'7",
6'7",
6'8".
240.
Yeah. Yeah, all muscle. Like, yeah, that's
And,
try moving
and when
that.
he blocked so many shots. When he lied
Oh
down, there
yeah.
was no bottom of the
Yeah.
net.
Nothing was getting through. So I have the trade for Dallas, and then we'll move on to the Habs
yes.
tournament. Leafs, we'll do that quick one. So it looks like Niles Lundqvist was traded from
Nils Lundqvist.
Niels, sorry. My apologies. Niels Lundqvist was traded. Just a quick trade news to the Dallas Stars from the New York Rangers. According to them on NHL.com, Rangers received conditional first round in 2023 and a conditional fourth round, and Stars own the first pick in 2023, and it's a top 10. New York will get Dallas's own in 2024 instead.
Unprotected in
So it
2024.
is, yeah, but they have to forfeit 1 year. They have to.
Yeah, no. If it gets the protected rights, then the 2024 is unprotected completely.
Right, it says here.
22-year-old
player. Yeah.
There's also some bad news in Toronto's camp. Timothy Liljegren just got hurt.
I heard that. I don't know. They're not saying what the problem is. They're not going to say. Obviously, it's the Pat Quinnism, the old lower body injury, and we don't. He's out for the camp. I know that, and they're not saying they're going to tell.
They want to know after evaluation before
they're going to evaluate. I did see that tonight. They're going to evaluate, of course. Just seeing here. I'm going to bring TSN back up here. I have it here.
His IR may give you the space to sign Sandin too.
I mean, I'd rather have Liljegren in the lineup. That's just me, but. Yeah. Anyway, it is what it is, and we don't know what the injury. We'll switch over now while I look for that Habs and Leafs rookie tournament. Now, you've watched the tournament. I haven't. I haven't paid too much attention to the Leafs rookie camp. They lost some, but
I watched all 3 of the Habs games. They were quite really fun to watch.
Okay.
And
what do you see? What do you like?
There's a few prospects that no one's ever heard of, but I really like them. There's one kid, Parker Jones. He's a 6'7" monster. He's got wheels. I've never seen a guy with wheels that big.
Okay.
There was another guy. One of our prospects that we couldn't sign because we already had enough contracts. We got him signed to an AHL contract this year. Brett Stapley. He's very similar to a Jake Evans, but I really liked him too. Philip Meshar from this year's first round in our 20-something pick. I can't remember which exact spot. That kid looks like he needs to be in the AHL right now. I think the OHL is not good, is too weak for him. He's going to destroy it.
I mean, we discussed this yesterday. In my opinion, Montreal's right now, don't rush anybody. Keep them off. Keep them. Sure. I mean, yeah, he'll destroy the league he's in most likely, or he'll definitely play hard. But there's no need. Your team is the rebuilding team, and when you're in a rebuilding phase,
I'm not saying put him in the NHL. I'm saying in the AHL, it might benefit him better in his development at this point, at this moment in time.
That's true. I mean, if he's definitely showing the signs that he's ready to play in the AHL, then absolutely, at least try him anyway. I don't know if there's. I mean,
I think the 9-game rule applies there too. I think it's just professionally. I think.
Okay, I know that it's in the NHL they have that, but I don't know about the AHL. But all I know is
I think I'd
It's
have to look it up, but I think it's kind of the
okay.
same.
Well, yeah, I mean, we can look into that. But the thing for
Mhm.
me is that in Montreal's case, rookies, leave them rookies, let them. I mean, if there's a stud out there that has worth looking, absolutely. But you guys want to
No,
do
I'm not saying rush anybody. I'm just loving what I'm
okay.
seeing. Like, I said,
Well, there you
like,
go. I mean,
yeah, and
you have a ton of prospects. You've been stockpiling draft picks the last 2 years, just like a rebuilding team is supposed to.
there's our second round pick of this year in 33rd, which was like basically the first pick in the second round. Owen
Okay,
Beck, that kid. Let's just say everything that they wrote about what Shane Wright was all about.
sure.
He's Shane Wright 2.0 in his
Okay.
abilities, in his
I don't
two-way
know
play.
Shane Wright's. I don't know
Well,
Shane Wright's mo,
they
so I don't
always
know what
talked
it
about his smarts and his two-way
his
play. His
breakdown.
smarts and his two-way play.
Okay.
Owen Beck plays that exact same game. So basically, they didn't need to get Shane Wright. They got him in the second round type thing.
Sometimes second round players are better than firsts. I mean,
Mhm.
depending on where he finished in the draft choices. I mean,
Well, he
if
was
it's a high
33rd, so
second,
it's still
okay, so
it was
it's
first
like a
pick, second
first,
round, first
basically
second.
like a really low end first, high second, right?
Hmm.
So he's in the top under the top 50 of players. So
Yeah.
he's a good player.
Who else? Our defense, our kid Gooley looks like a monster. There we have this one kid, Arbor Jekai. You're not going to like him very much when he's in the NHL.
We'll see if he gets there, but yes,
I believe he will get there. He can hit like a freight train. Actually, there was an incident in the final game of the rookie tournament with the Ottawa Senators where he had told he had gotten into a fight that night, and when he spoke to reporters, he was asked about the fight, and he said, "Well, what had happened is a player on their team, the player on their team had said an offensive slur to me, so I went to the referee and told him this player has told me an offensive slur. I will handle it myself." And he knocked him out.
that didn't take long.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
so
he's a
yeah,
monster. He's also a 6'7" defenseman too.
right,
And I saw him last year in training camp, and I was like, wow, this kid is very good already. So
right.
now he's growing into his giant body, right, weight wise and everything.
There you go. Good. Hey, you guys have to start hitting on your draft picks, man. You guys have had terrible choices over the years. You need to start hitting those second, third,
Well,
and fourth rounders,
what do
fifth
you feel?
rounders.
How do you feel about that? You know, you got Slavkovsky at 6'4", you know, this Jekai at 6'7", and Parker Jones 6'7". What the other? That's not like Montreal's mo.
No, it's not. No, no, it's exactly it. So Toronto, yeah, Toronto, I believe was 1-2 in our second
We were the same.
score,
We were
but
1-2.
yeah,
Um,
Toronto. I know they lost at least. Yeah, they lost two, I
from
believe.
what
They
I saw,
won one.
it was from what I saw with the Habs, it wasn't anything wrong with the offense or defense. It was mainly the goalies. They were very bad.
Hmm.
We don't have
Oh,
any very good prospect goalies. Two of them were actually PTO invites,
right.
and one of them is our seventh round pick goalie for the battalions,
Yeah,
and he wasn't very good last year.
yeah. Leafs beats Dallas, and then they lost against the Red Wings and the St. Louis.
What an interesting tournament choice for you
Oh,
guys. No, I meant
well,
for place wise.
it kind of reminds me of the old days back in the '90s. We were in the Norris division in the
Yeah,
West.
that's exactly what
The
it
old,
was. It would
yeah,
be
just
Minnesota
old.
instead of Dallas.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, back in the old Norris division, back whenever I was, like
And
15.
we were with Buffalo, New Jersey, and Ottawa.
Yeah, in the Patrick division.
Yep, that's I guess that's what they were doing. The old
Yeah, the old.
style
Well, I
divisions.
don't know. I don't know if they were doing that on purpose. I just know that that's the Patrick division, and we were the Norris division. Don't miss that. Though
The Smythe.
I did enjoy playing Chicago and Dallas and St. Louis often enough. But
You guys were in
after
the
a
West
while,
at that time,
yeah, we were in the West for a while, well, for a long time.
forever.
And then
Detroit
and in
too.
90 and then in 98 they came over to the East. So
Only one Eastern team flipped to the West, which is it was Atlanta going to Winnipeg, whereas Detroit, Toronto, and who's the other one? Columbus have all come from the West to the East. Actually, to be honest,
oh.
Chicago should be in the East too.
They're pretty central now. I don't know.
Yeah, but
I think the East is
they're the
yeah,
East in basketball.
I don't know. There's a lot of teams. There's a lot more. I don't know. I think they're more central for me. I think, I mean, to stay in the East is fine, but they have to balance it somewhere, right? You have to make a decision. But yeah, well, Detroit's in the East now.
They should have been in the East to begin with. Their traveling must. How did they win so much with that much travel?
I know.
They used to like show the amount of travel per team, and I think Detroit's was over like 1,600 hours every season.
It was a lot. Toronto had a lot too back in the day.
Yeah.
Too.
And that was their biggest complaint. They're like, look at our travel compared to most teams. And like, I think Edmonton's or something was like one of the least at like 900 hours of travel. Or
well, think about it. Did Toronto did all those playoff years? They were flying to like Los Angeles. They were flying to, like
St.
in the
Louis.
LA series, St. Louis. I mean, St. Louis wasn't very far as to Toronto.
Detroit was easy one.
Well, that's easy. Even St. Louis is not that far by plane. But I mean, LA is a long. That's
especially when you're doing the game back and forth.
Well, no, they did the 2 and 2. They were doing.
No, but you did 2-2 and then game.
Yeah, that's right.
And then Montreal, LA was the final. That's another super duper travel.
So to wrap up our NHL segment, before we finish up with the NFL stuff, I brought up Habs choose Suzuki as captain. Now, what do you think of that choice? I mean, it's a very illustrious position to be in my opinion, for that franchise. They value their captains like most teams do, but I find Montreal, Toronto, the original 6, in my opinion, like they take it a little step further. I find that it's kind of a,
it's a prestigious
celebrity. It's a celebrity-ish.
Is it a celebrity status?
Yeah, it's well talked about. Yeah.
And you don't just get it in those teams. When you're given it, it's because you're going to be there for a very long time.
So what do you think? Yes or no?
I love it. To me, he was already the captain before he got the C. During the summer, when we made those trades, he was the first person to call all those players and welcome them to the team. I also learned yesterday that the entire summer he had Logan Mailloux living with him.
Okay.
He had to move to Montreal and live with him to learn, like, be around the team and everything. So, to me, that's two things. One, that's being a captain, and two, Mailloux is going to stay in Montreal. They're priming him.
Now, do you feel there were anyone else in the team that could have filled the role instead of Suzuki?
The only one I could have seen other than him, I did not want to see Gallagher get the C. Unfortunately, I don't see him as a captain. He had a chance to be a captain last year, and he was a baby last year. The only other person I could see who would be a gap filler of 2 years maybe is Joel Edmondson. Other than that, Suzuki was the captain.
In my view, I mean, as an outsider looking at the Habs, you've just told the world that he's your new centerpiece. He's the guy now. Mm-hmm. Like when we brought John Tavares in, they gave him the C. A lot of controversy in Maple Leafs land about should Matthews have gotten it or Riley should have gotten it. But they chose Tavares. Tavares was the right choice. Now Matthews is being groomed, in my opinion, to be quickly about the Leafs. But Matthews, in my opinion, is being groomed to become the next captain when he decides to call it, provided he signs with Toronto, re-signs with them an extension. But
they may even just swap it near closer to the end of the contract with 2 years left in the contract, something like that. Depending on how old Tavares gets, they might swap it over. They did that with Thornton, I believe. They did that with Thornton in San Jose.
Sure. I don't see the Leafs doing it. I think they're going to honor the full time that he's there because that's just what they do. I don't know if they would do that. Unless Tavares gives it up. Oh, unless Tavares does it, sure.
And he is a player that does that, though. He is a player type that would do that. I remember, I think it was Taves, but when he was named captain of Team Canada, he asked Sidney Crosby if that was okay.
Well, it's that respect thing, right?
Yeah, that's insane.
I just think this is a side story, of course, but but so you feel Suzuki is the guy. Okay, well, that's fair. You're right. I said you're
He's signed for 6 more years at $7 million.
Yeah, which is going to be a steal at the end of this contract when it's all said. But if he produces like you've told me you think he's going to be a steal.
He was 60 points last year, and
on a very bad Habs team.
And it's only going to get better.
Well, you need him. As I said in the last episode, you got to get 40 goals out of this guy. You have to.
Well, you have no choice. He needed some firepower. He needed some guys who could shoot the puck. And now we've got a couple of those guys, so it's gonna be fun to watch.
Well, again, you're playing to see what you have and try to finish as low as you can. I mean, that's.
I was also reading that the last few weeks, apparently, Cole Caulfield and Kirby Dach have been skating together and growing chemistry together. So I don't know if they're going to be splitting up Suzuki Caulfield this year to put like Slavkovsky Anderson with Suzuki for two wingers that can snipe, and then a sniper with Dach.
So that means then you feel Slavkovsky's ready to roll. He's ready to play now.
I think he's going to be put into at least the 9 games. At least the 9 games.
Well, they're not going to not play him. They're going to play him in those 9 games. I just don't think it's necessary. I think he should see what he could do and then stuff him down to control his money for 1 year. Protect that ELC, protect it for a year.
I'm very curious at camp because at the rookie tournament, he like a lot of people were like, "Oh, he wasn't producing, blah blah blah." He was playing great. The problem was, it's almost like he was trying to be so good that he was making mistakes because he was doing too many things. You know what I mean? Like when you're doing too much. He was also, his mindset was he was trying to feed guys instead of feed himself too. He was being unselfish.
He's a kid.
Yes,
he's a kid. He's brand new.
But his he does have experience against men in the Olympics and in the Finnish Elite League. So I do want to see what he could do in the preseason. His puck possession is unreal because he's apparently, they say size wise it's like Jaromir Jagr, where the way he used to box himself out.
He's big.
You know, when Jagr used to just bend down a little bit and that's it. He's got the puck forever because no one's going to knock those tree trunk legs over.
But here's the thing I'm going to say just to finish this portion of this second part I'll bring up in a minute. This is the reason why I say don't play him, because of those kind of comments. He's not producing. Well, you know what, man? Like
I'm not worried about it. It's the rookie tournament.
Not you, but I'm saying because of what was said.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, guys, you have this excellent talent you just drafted. Leave him be. You guys are not gonna. You're in a development, tear down, rebuild stage. You don't want to do this. You don't want to damage this guy.
They're not going to. No.
Well, they better not.
No. From what I see with Kent Hughes and Jeff Gordon, they're already doing it right. Like they haven't rushed any of their prospects yet. None of them.
If the Rangers are any indication, which is who he built before,
and
he probably won't.
He was a Boston builder too.
Right, but he won't do it. Like he's smart in that way. He's smart for that. But
he's they haven't rushed anybody yet. Like any of their prospects that are on the cusp, they had to play a couple games and sent them back. I
just think it would be a mistake. I'm just saying it's a mistake if they did that.
If he's ready, then he's ready. If he's not, then he won't be. I know they're not rushing anything.
I would still put him down just because of the fact it's not necessary. He's not going to hurt in the AHL. It's not going to hurt him.
And he may also play some games down there and then come up for the rest of the season.
That's fair. That's fine. Okay, that's fine. But give him half the season in the AHL, and then after that, if he plays 2, then okay, so be it.
There are other reasons why I do see him going down as well, because he's on a 2-way contract with no waivers.
Right. Well, he's an ELC. He can do whatever they want.
Yeah. No, I know, but by sending him down, he can clear there's no clearing waivers.
Whereas but all ELCs can. That's the advantage, right?
Whereas some of our other contracts that would not be on the roster would have to clear waivers, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I think there's a limit. There's a limit of games that he can play, and if he passes the limit, I know in Nylander's case they had this happen.
Yeah, but
they would burn the year. They would burn a year of his contract as an ELC because he passed so many games.
Mm-hmm. But with him, I don't know exactly how it works because he was playing in Finland. So
it's still, I think it's standard.
No, I know, but if he goes down, I don't know if he has to report back to Finland or if he stays in the AHL. I'm not sure.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I know in the NHL or the OHL they have that rule. Depends on his age.
No, but no, it also there's some. It has to do with stipulations too in the leagues where when you draft players in their leagues, I think there's an exemption for first round picks. I'm not sure. I know in Russia,
couldn't tell you.
I know the Russian league. Their one rule is, if you draft their players, if they are not a first-round draft pick, their rights in the Russian leagues have to be handled there. So if they have a contract, they have to stay in the Russian league till that contract's up. Whereas the first-round pick has the right to waive and go straight to the NHL.
Okay, well, I'm going to hop on Cap Friendly for a second because they might have that. Now, I'm going to bring up this question next to finish up this portion. Now that Suzuki's captain, there's been a lot of chatter about his lack of French speaking. Now, is it important today? Now, we both know that the NH or the Montreal Canadiens hold the organization and obviously the media hold this particular portion of the job pretty seriously. To this day, they still do. In your opinion, as a fan, do you feel it's a big deal? And if it is or isn't, just like why is that? Like I don't think it is, but I'll let you have the floor for it because it's your team.
In my opinion, it's not. I don't think a language barrier should decide whether you can have a job or not.
Right.
Unfortunately, he's living in a very bilingual province, and it's very biased towards their French, and that's the only downfall. I do know, like, he has there's lots of things going out there. He has been working on his French too. I know he went to school in like French immersion in Ontario and stuff like that. But the other thing I was going to say, when Logan Mailloux was living with him, according to him, he purposely spoke French to Mailloux every day, only in French, just to practice his French. So, those are all steps to like. I guess those are the steps in the right direction for the media base and the fan base that are very, very that's a very important thing. I can tell you right now, if he does one interview in French and only one, they will love him more than Pacioretty right away, because Pacioretty never did one interview in French.
Well,
he never took the time to learn anything in French, basically.
Right. I mean, we've seen it in the past how Montreal's handled some people in their organization who English was their first language and not French was not. I mean, Randy Cunningworth. I mean, his coach, that wasn't well done.
Saku Koivu was a 10-year captain. He didn't speak.
And I understand that. I get that, but it's still a thing. It was a big news item I saw 3 days ago. So clearly, it's still a big deal to Montreal, even though maybe it shouldn't be, but it is. Now, I don't know why. I don't understand it. I mean, I understand it to an extent that it is. And I mean, everybody watching, this could be a controversial subject, just warning you. Mm-hmm. But the thing is that my organization's in a English-based province with a predominantly English-based province. Obviously, there's French, much French in Ontario and other languages too. But the thing is, it's not an important thing in the Maple Leafs organization. And I don't think it should be in Montreal, but that's just my opinion. But clearly Montreal feels it. So I'm very curious to see how this plays out with that option with him, because he's holding that job.
Mm-hmm. I think he's going to be fine. I don't see it being an issue. The fans love Suzuki. I think it's more just media outlets trying to make something out of nothing. Again, as usual in Montreal, it happens all the time.
Now, do captains talk a lot to the media? I would say yes.
Yes,
right?
They have to. Of course.
Now, and
as I said, Max Pacioretty never spoke a word of French to the media because he couldn't.
Then we'll see how the Habs media handles him. But
you know what? The ones who brought up this article here never said spit about that. So why say it now? Is my question.
Well, that's why I wanted to bring it up for us, because it is something to chat about. Now, I've got his waiver details here. I've got Slavkovsky's waiver details on Cap Friendly. He waivers sign 18, 11 games for his season. No, he's got seasons exempt 5 and NHL games played exempt 160. Probably because of what you said. Because of where he probably drafted. That's my guess. It's not. That's what I'm just reading here. Yeah, he's got to play required 5 seasons, 160 games. My guess is they're going to put him in the minors as much as they can, unless they have that rule. You're saying something about the other leagues across the pond.
Yeah, I don't know how it works. If he's not in the NHL, he has to go back to his Finnish league. Some of them are like that. If he's not in the NHL, he has to go back to Finland or whatever league it is.
He's absolutely exempt from waivers. There's no question about like any ELCS. So.
I'm curious also on our team to see how Matthias Norlinder does, because he was here 2 years ago under the Bergevin regime and he looked atrocious, like very out of place. And I know for a fact that in Sweden, he was a very, very, very good defenseman. So I'm wondering if under these guys, it's going to change. I wasn't expecting to see him come back. Another one I was not expecting to see come back, who came back to Montreal, was Otto Leskinen. I thought I was never going to see that name again. And he returned. So I think they like the direction that the new management is going in.
Well, you have to, right? I mean, this is your team. He's your management team now. So,
I like these
hey,
guys.
so we're going to switch gears. Our final segment, it's about an hour and 12 into it. So we'll get this. It is now the NFL. So, as I just posted in our banner here, Ryan Ty's NFL Week 1 roast. Safe to say, man, I'm glad we don't bet because, good Lord, my word, man, we would have lost some money.
Some money? I would have sold my house.
It's a lot of that was a lot of poor choices.
Was I right on anything?
I know we had a few. We had a couple of them. I had a few right. You had a few right, but some of them, nope,
I
not
didn't
even
even get
close.
my own team right. I thought they were going to lose.
Well, I thought Green Bay was going to win, and Green Bay didn't, and they got clobbered by Minnesota, and then they come around in week 2 and beat up the Bears nicely. So anyway, I just wanted to do a quick segment about that. We safe to say, not good choices. If you watch the episode, please do check out what we have to say about the NFL teams and the week 1. No, we
poor
not very good
choices.
Poor choices. Poor, but anyway, that's how it rolls. It's week 1. Week 1's pretty much anybody's football game, right?
Did you see the Thursday night game this week?
Well, that's so week 2. Yeah, I'm gonna switch it over here to the NFL scores and discussion. So yeah, week 2, that was who played that one? I forget who played that one.
Did you see Baltimore lost to who was it, the Jags or something? How did that happen?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know how that happened, but it happened. Oh man. There was some good games and there was some bad. I have the scores up here. So in week 2, so we just go quick. KC beats the Chargers 27-24. So that was a nail biter. Jacksonville clobbered the Colts 24-0. Oof. Not very good.
How did the Jets beat the Browns?
By 1. Well, hey, they got to win some games. I mean, come on. They got to win something.
Steelers game was so boring, man.
Yeah. My team clobbered Bears pretty efficiently. But that was because Rodgers, I believe, said, or the team, or LaFleur said, we're bringing out our veteran receivers, and they just went to work. So.
Miami beat Baltimore 42-38.
Yeah, now they were behind, but they were behind.
They scored. They outscored Baltimore 28-3 in the fourth quarter.
That was nuts.
They were down 28-7 at half.
They had 14 total points going into the fourth quarter, and then they just crushed them 28-3.
They had 4 touchdowns. Four touchdowns in the 15 minutes.
That's incredible. Good for Miami. I mean, hey, they got it together, and they're right where they should be. So
the good old Washington Commanders lost to Detroit.
Yeah, but they won their first game. So
but they lost to Detroit.
Yeah.
That doesn't matter anymore. They lost to Detroit.
Yeah. Excuse me.
We went 16-1 this year, but you lost to Detroit.
Not a good stat there. No. Close one with Carolina and the Giants. Giants took that one 19-16.
There were a lot of close games, actually.
Yeah, man. Tampa took out. Apparently, the Tampa New Orleans game was quite good, but good old Mr. Brady took care of business.
Denver Houston 16-9.
Now, here's a big story. Now, they were going to trade Garoppolo. Garoppolo wanted a deal. They wanted him gone, and he wanted to go. They didn't trade him. Then their quarterback, their new guy, breaks his ankle, and he's finished for the year. And they go out and win. I mean, Seattle took a big hit losing Wilson, but still, 27-7.
So Trey Lance is out for season.
Out for season. Broke his ankle. Obviously severe enough. I don't know if it's Dak Prescott severe, but it's severe enough to keep him out for the year. So I'd say that's pretty bad.
Pittsburgh leads my division right now.
Hold on to that. Hold on to that. Week 2.
Thank you, Baltimore, for choking.
Yeah, we have to rely on someone losing and being terrible to stay in first.
And now all we have to do is beat Cleveland, and then we're clear.
Yeah, there you go. You're all set. Oh, what a division. Yeah, Denver beat. So Wilson got his first win against Houston. Of course, poor Burrows. Now, if I read correctly, Burrow in Cincinnati got sacked almost, I think, at least 5 times or 7 times in this game. It was insane.
Good offensive line there, guys. Good work. Way to hold it together for your quarterback.
They got hit hard.
No,
Like
well, he did. The rest
he
of the
did.
team didn't
Sorry,
do
he
anything.
did. And I mean, he had one touchdown. He only had 199 yards.
That's still very good for one touchdown.
Yeah, they won 20. No, they got he had
They
20
only
to
lost by
17.
3. They only lost by
Yeah,
3.
no. Yeah, and they were up against, but they're 0-2 right now. But yeah, I'm pretty sure I heard that in the Bills game last night that Burrow got smoked at least 7 times in this game. Now, don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure I read that. I heard that. What else was there? Well, anyway, just
You know what though?
mental.
Is it him or someone else who always gets sacked? I thought it was him.
Oh, Stafford got sacked all the time before he went over to LA.
That poor guy had a tissue paper of an O-line.
He didn't have any O-line, to be honest.
Honestly, Matt Patricia should have just put the uniform back on and protected him.
As we've said in the past, he had more running yards in running for his life than actually in offense.
He was the best scrambling quarterback of all time.
Yeah, because you heard him scream all day.
He's out for season again. Why? Because he got hit for the 45th time this game.
Way to go, Lions. Anyway, so you got Arizona beat. Oh, this Arizona beat Vegas. Now, if this was not, this is the one.
Kyler Murray looks good, man.
Yeah, well, this is the one where they had a 54-yard return.
Yeah.
So there was a fumble. Vegas had the ball. They were going
in overtime.
In overtime, they were going for it. I think. Pretty sure. I'm looking at it here.
Yeah.
And then Arizona. It was returned by Murphy. Yeah, Byron Murphy Jr. returns it for 59 yards. Touchdown, wins the game. Talk about a heartbreak. Like
two last names Jr. Byron Murphy.
Byron Murphy. Let's see here. Let's finish up this part quick. There's Green Bay beat up Chicago 27-10. Buffalo. That Bears.
Buffalo, Tennessee. Tennessee's so good. Ryan Tannehill's so good. 117 yards.
Wow, Buffalo looked just so good, man. They just had them. It was awesome.
What do you mean?
I watched
317 yards is not good.
That was a good game. Buffalo
4 TDs.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure Allen did his job. And of course, Minnesota versus the Eagles, 24-7.
Kirk Cousins was great with his three INTs.
And the Eagles, well, Jalen Hurts didn't hurt that much last night. So
no, Jalen felt good. I think
Hurts did pretty good. So anyway, so that's basically that's the NFL roundup.
I still think the Eagles are going to win that division because it's atrocious.
Wretched?
Yes.
Well, possibly.
Their only weakness might be the Giants.
Yeah. Well, saying that, since we missed week 2, how about we could do NFL stories around the league. I don't really think there's too much to chat about right now. There's still obviously like the games are going nice and strong now.
Should we try and do better picks on week 3?
Well, I think that's what we're going to do next. I'm just taking a quick peek on NFL.com if there's anything outstanding.
Thursday night game is Pittsburgh versus Cleveland, by the way.
So that's okay. So Cleveland versus Pittsburgh. What's your take? What do you think?
If Trubisky can get over his third down conversion problem, we can win this game.
Well, it's in Cleveland. So I'm going to go on the side of Cleveland because they're at home. But Pittsburgh, they can't score. That's their problem. They just don't have much offense. They can't get it going because their guy is too new. And I'm going to go Cleveland. Now, Cleveland doesn't have Baker Mayfield anymore, but
no, and they're coming off a loss, so that's what I'm riding on.
Right.
We're coming off a loss too. Like theirs was a heartbreaker though.
Brissett's their guy, so he's their quarterback. So we'll see what he does.
He's the quarterback for the Browns right now.
Yeah, that is. Yeah. So I'm gonna go. I'm going with.
Isn't he an ex? What is it?
I don't know.
I think he was originally New England behind Brady at one point. He was before the other ones were behind Brady.
Oh yeah. Oh, maybe. I don't know. I don't know anything about him, to be honest with you. So I'm not going to say.
Yeah, let me just double check. I just want to double check that, but I'm pretty sure he was behind Brady.
Okay. Well, while you check that, I'll bring up. So Kansas City versus India, the Colts. Casey's going to steamroll them, my opinion. Colts are going to lose again. I don't know. They may get a field goal, maybe if that.
Yeah,
I
he
think
was
Casey's.
he was in New England in 2016.
Yeah, I say KC's going to take. They're on the road this week, Sunday against the Colts. I think they're going to beat them pretty soundly. That's
KC should win that game.
Yeah.
I honestly thought KC was going to lose the game this weekend, or that just passed, and they somehow still pulled it off.
So, as you said yourself, Mahomes, man. New Orleans and Carolina at home. Carolina's at home. What do you think?
You know what? I'm going with Carolina.
Carolina?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
they've been good so far. They've been good
like
so far.
New Orleans. New Orleans needs a win. Yeah. I'm going to go New Orleans. I think, but they're on the road. But Carolina's at home, and they have their They have Mayfield and Darnold. So
it's a decent pair.
Yeah, Vegas and Tennessee. Vegas is going to beat them. That's my opinion.
They should. Tennessee's atrocious.
Davante Adams had his worst game, I think, in a very long time on this weekend that just passed. They said he's quite frustrated right now, but maybe it was just with that game. But anyway, they were frustrated. He was.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he's going to have a comeback game. They're going to bounce back, and we're going to beat this team.
They have to.
Well, they're on the road too.
Houston and Chicago.
Chicago. Did you hear? Now, I read this. I watched this. So Chicago has, I believe, minimum 5, probably 6 players that are not on their roster that they're paying for. I'm not joking. Yeah.
Ooh.
Like Jalil Mack, Foles. I mean, if you could find that list, it's insane. Like, I think it's around $46 million in dead cap that they're obviously going for a rebuild, but that's what they are. Like,
are those all IR players?
No, they're not with the team anymore.
They traded them and kept their contracts.
Well, either it was a penalty. I saw it come up when I was watching the game against Green Bay, and it came up, and they said that the Bears have like a number of players that are no longer with the team, but they are continuing to pay them for. It just stunned me. I'm like, Chicago Bears doing that? That's crazy. You hear stuff like that from other teams, not the Bears, but I guess they're doing it. They have this new GM, and he's a younger fellow. I think he's 38 years old.
Probably trying to play Moneyball.
Maybe
According to Over the Cap, the Bears have $56.8 million in dead money for the 2022 season.
So it's even
worse.
Which
is the second most in the NFL. That's behind the Atlanta Falcons, who have $63.21 million in dead cap.
And to think that if Aaron Rodgers didn't get a deal with the Green Bay Packers, that he would have been $46 million by himself on Green Bay's cap this year if it wouldn't have been reworked.
So the players are Khalil Mack.
Yep.
Nick Foles.
Yep.
Eddie Goldman.
Yep.
Andy Dalton.
Yeah, Anthony Dalton. Yeah, Dalton was on there. Yeah.
Here, actually, I'll tell you the amounts too. Khalil Mack is 24 mil. Foles is 7.67. Eddie Goldman is 5.15 million. He's a free agent, by the way.
Yeah, none of them are playing. As far as I understand, none of them are part of the team. No. They're gone.
Yeah, no, I'm saying where they are. Like for example, Foles is in Indianapolis. Right. Chargers have Khalil Mack.
Yes.
Goldman's a free agent. Andy Dalton's with the Saints and they're paying him $5 million. Jimmy Graham is a free agent and they're paying him $4.66 million. Charles Leno is with Washington and they're paying him $2.8 million. Tarek Cohen is a free agent. They're paying him $1.75. Danny Trevathan, a free agent, $1.53 million. Jermaine Ifedi, $1.5 million with the Falcons. T-Shawn Gibson,
how many more?
$750,000. Jeremiah Achu, $600.
Bless you.
Jesse James, Damian Williams. Holy moly!
Okay, so safe to say, they have a boatload of players. Yeah.
Riley Ridley. There's the end.
So they have that much. So it's even worse than what I was reading.
14 players.
14 players, all gone. Pain. Incredible.
Oh, ouch. And one of the players is playing on the team that has the highest cap of dead money.
Houston for the win. Just going to say. Houston for the win.
No way. The Bears got this.
Hold my beer. Yeah. Philly versus Washington Commanders. I think that's a
I'm going
wash.
Philly.
I'm going Philly
It's not a
because
wash. It's a Philly.
it's Philly. It hurts. Ertz is going to play well again. Detroit
Detroit.
versus here's a wonderful one. Detroit versus Minnesota. There's a
What if
barn burner.
Detroit shocks them?
Well, I don't. I
Because they've
wouldn't.
had a poor start. They've been
They're
poor
both.
since.
Hey, they're both division rivals in my division. I wouldn't care.
I know.
I don't care less. Let them kill each other.
But they've
As far as I
been
care.
since the Green Bay game. They haven't looked good. The Vikings.
Well, no, they only had the one game, but no, they haven't been good.
No.
Baltimore versus New England.
Baltimore should rebound from that loss.
And New England's just not going to do
anything. They shouldn't have beat the. Honestly, I watched the Steelers game. They shouldn't have beat the Steelers. It was a really bad game.
Let's see, Buffalo.
Miami. Look at the offense.
That'll be a game I'm going to probably watch.
Oh, that's a lot of offense.
That's a lot of offense. That's going to be a fun one. I think that's going to be a close one. Win by 3 points.
I can see it kind of like a Patrick Mahomes Bills game.
Field goal game. Yeah. Cincinnati versus Jets. Quick. What do you think? I think Cincinnati's got this one.
Jets. No, serious Jets.
Big Jets? Think so?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm going Cincinnati on that, but okay.
All
right. Jacksonville versus Chargers. I'm going Chargers.
Yeah.
I like
easily.
Chargers.
Jacksonville's bad.
Seattle versus Atlanta. I think Atlanta's going to take it. Seattle. I think Seattle's going to have another bad one.
Really?
They're still not getting it together. I think the loss of Wilson was a big hit for them.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think they can rebound though, because I don't see the other team's not that much of a threat.
Well, like I said, you go.
That's
the beauty about it. You feel Seattle. Okay, I'm going Atlanta. I think Atlanta's going to win.
And having a rivalry is good.
Rams in Arizona.
That's going to be a good game, but I think the Rams should win.
Rams. Yeah.
It'll be a good game though.
Yep. Brady versus my team. I'm going to go.
Ooh, that's going to be
Green Bay, and they're on the road this time. So that's going to be hard. They're going to be in Tampa. I don't know enough about Tampa's offense, but beside Brady, but I mean, he's been winning games fairly soundly. So
do you need anything else when you have Brady? You just need a guy who has arms.
Okay, fair. Two Titanic quarterbacks going against each other.
That's the thing. You had those two quarterbacks literally are like, do you guys have a dummy that has arms? Just run with the dummy.
Green Bay, I think I'm going Green Bay because it's my team. I'm just going to go Green Bay.
I'm gonna say the Bucks just because.
Okay, yeah, just because that's what you do. But anyway, San Fran versus Denver. That'll be a good game. Garoppolo versus Wilson.
I'm gonna go San Fran.
That's the Sunday night game.
I'm saying San Fran because I feel like they have a more rounded offense.
I'd say San Fran's going to beat them.
Yeah, I think San Fran's got the better all-round offense compared to Denver. Denver has a great team. They needed a quarterback, but San Fran has all the tools. They have the defense and the offense.
Right, I think so. And final game Monday night. So that was the Sunday 8:20 game. Now Monday game will be Dallas versus the Giants. What do you think? I'm going Giants.
Well, Dallas is expected to win, so let's go Giants.
Well, Giants are at home. Well, Giants are at home, right? So
I just like seeing Dallas fans suffer. I'm going with the Giants.
I'm impartial to it. Whatever. Dallas has got a tough go, but you know what? I'm going Giants. But yeah. Okay, we'll see how our picks. We'll see how our choices go for this coming season, or this coming week. So
hope it's better.
Yeah, well, we didn't do week 2, but that's okay because of the shock that how bad we were at week 1. So I figured that would
worse,
be.
Can it? We can't be worse, can we?
I think we were like 2 and like everything else was bad.
Nice.
It was like really anyway, truly.
Well, let's hope we can get a reverse effect and make our records even.
We'll see what happens. So
yeah, we got a couple of opposite picks this time.
Yeah. So I think we're going to stop the show there. That's that was fun. Anyway, so we're going to try to aim for, like I said, at least one show a week, maybe 2 if we can, maybe an update and one of these. This is an actual episode. So thanks again, Typhoon, for joining in. Thanks for the chat. That was fun. And
always a pleasure.
Oh, yes. And if anybody wants to leave comments below, of course, absolutely go for it. If you like what we're doing with our channel, please feel free to hit the like and subscribe button. Also, Please hit the notification bell on the right if you want to get more notifications for content that we do. We're going to continue on, of course. The NHL season's upon us.
And we
The
sometimes make
NBA's
short
coming up.
videos when there's news. We do quick shorts, things like that too. So.
Oh yeah, there'll be shorts, there'll be reactions, there'll be all kinds of stuff. We're going to even look into the idea of maybe doing a pool preview for pool players for the NHL season potentially. Now it's season. That's the league that we're most familiar with, of course, but we're going to do that. And I think with that, I want to say thanks again for watching, and we will see you in the next video. Have a good night, everyone.
Good night, guys.
Good night, man.
Later.
Later.